let's be real. Movies to video games usually doesn't work. Whether it's movie properties that have video game adaptations or video games that were successful and they try to turn it into a movie, a lot of times it just doesn't work. But Terminator Resistance is one of those rare situations where it does really work. And even though Terminator Resistance is technically a game from last generation, it does have current generation versions. For this review video, I did play the PlayStation 5 version, and I wanted to talk about it. What's going on, everybody? This is SSG, aka Sergeant Sentinel, and welcome to another Sergeant Sentinel gaming review video. Now today, like I said, I am talking about Terminator Resistance, more specifically the PlayStation 5 version. Now, I did not download or purchase the Annihilation Line DLC, which is an add-on to the original story, so I can't really talk about that, but I am going to talk about the other parts of Terminator Resistance, more specifically the main story campaign and the Infiltrator mode, which I thought was extremely cool. Now, first things first, about Terminator Resistance, let's talk about its negatives. I want to get those out of the way first, just so that there aren't any unrealistic expectations. Now, the lip syncing on this ranges from okay to kind of bad. And you'll notice that right away with some of the characters, the lip syncing is pretty bad. Now, this is the same studio that made RoboCop Rogue City, and in that game that's current generation only, you'll notice that the lip syncing has got tremendously better than it was here. I'm not saying it's horrendous here, but there are some instances where it's pretty bad, and you're going to notice it. It shouldn't be too much of an issue if you're actually playing a game to have fun, for gunplay, for explosions, for actions, but there are going to be some people that are going to nitpick it, no matter how unfair that is. Now, another negative thing is the AI in this game is kind of stupid, and there's been a number of times when I've been in a gunfight or trying to shoot at Terminators, and obviously friendly fire is not a thing in this, so if someone runs in front of your weapon whenever you're trying to shoot, it doesn't let you shoot. However, when trying to throw a pipe grenade or what they call a can bomb, the bigger ones, I think it's can grenade, there have been a number of times when my allies have run in front of me and the grenade has bounced off of them and landed right next to me and killed me. That has happened more than once, and it pisses me off because the AI that basically is supporting you, they suck as far as tactics go, and they're either crouched behind cover not doing much damage to an enemy, or they're running all over the place like chickens with their heads cut off. So that's kind of aggravating. Another thing that I kind of felt was frustrating was that there's definitely a difference between how hard the Infiltrator is when you're fighting him in the campaign versus how much damage you can actually take as an Infiltrator when you're playing as him in the Infiltrator mode. Now, obviously, in the campaign, this isn't going to present an issue, but in the Infiltrator mode where you play as a Terminator looking to clear all the resistance in an area and kill one of the commanders, it's kind of frustrating because, like I said, the Infiltrator that you fight as in the campaign is boss level, but the Infiltrator you play as in the Infiltrator expansion is maybe a low tier boss, so it's kind of frustrating. Aside from that, though, and specifically focused on the campaign, there are a plethora of different types of enemies that you fight. Some of them, like the smaller ones, can be damaged by regular gunfire, such as the Uzi, the M16, and the shotgun. The other ones might require plasma rifles. Now, the T-47 that you saw in this clip that just got destroyed, you can destroy him with the red plasma rifles, but violet plasma does much more damage, and you really want to use explosive ordnance like rocket launchers and things like that, because you can burn through your ammo quickly, and a lot of these bigger, tougher enemies may still be at half strength, and you really don't want that to have to scavenge for ammo because you're completely out. And now not only are you trying to fight the big bad guys, but now you have to worry about the smaller ones that are closing on your position, such as spider bots, the flying drones, and of course the Terminators. Now, a big plus to this game is that it really leans into what people love about the Terminator franchise, namely the first two Terminator films. The John Connor who is in this game, his look and his mannerisms, they're based on the actor who played John Connor at the beginning of Terminator 2 Judgment Day, where they have the flashback of the future. And I think that's a great nod. And for a lot of people who love Terminator 2, the feel of this game is that it respects the Terminator and Terminator 2 and ignores everything after that. And considering how shit a lot of the more recent movies we got really were, I think that's an outstanding move for them to partake in. That's a good focus for them. Rather than, let's do Terminator 3 and Terminator Salvation, and nope, they avoid that altogether, which is great. Another nice thing about Terminator Resistance is that you're not just playing in one area. There are a number of different areas where you go to explore for different storylines within the main game. Now, obviously, the one you're seeing here is Hollywood Hills. There's a warehouse district, there's a factory district, there's Pasadena, and you have missions that occur both day and night. And it really leans into the feel established, again, by those first two games. And it balances between exploration and action, especially since you learn how to craft different stuff like bombs and little noisemakers to distract enemies. That's great that they basically found a way to craft a meaningful and memorable story, because it is, by switching back and forth between crafting, exploration, and then of course action and combat. And throughout the story you meet a number of different types of characters. Some of them have tasks that they want you to do. Other ones are a little more annoying, and they're there pretty much just to kind of be obstacles in your way. But it doesn't feel like any character in this game is really wasted. Every single character in this game has a purpose of some sort. And for the overall story that it's trying to tell, that really makes it something that you're going to enjoy playing. Now, like I said, it does have issues, and, like, as far as the AI and as far as the lip syncing, it's not that bad. And there might have been glitches before when it launched last generation, but I didn't have any glitches when I played through on the PlayStation 5. And like I said, the Infiltrator mode is kind of like the icing on the cake, so to speak. The main campaign is cool, but the Infiltrator mode plays kind of a lot like Far Cry. You know how you have to basically do recon on certain enemy outposts and take them out and stuff? That's kind of what Infiltrator mode feels like. You also have to gather intel. You'll see, and keep in mind, as when you're playing the Infiltrator mode, you're playing as a Terminator. So you can gather intel, and it helps you to figure out where certain patrols are, certain stronghold, or certain resistance caches, where they have certain weapons like the M79 grenade launcher. You kind of figure that out by gathering intelligence. And the Infiltrator mode is actually a hell of a lot of fun. Yes, it's timed, or it's not really timed. It's I'm trying to think how to say this. Infiltrator mode is kind of like there's no respawn. It's like 45 minutes long. It's about how long it'll take you. There's no respawn. It's not timed per se, but it's permadeath. So, it doesn't let you go back and load from a different, save point or any of that other stuff. If you die, you're done. So that's kind of it kind of draws the line in the sand, so to speak. But again, that's cool. And I'd say for anyone who played the base game and you haven't played Infiltrator mode yet, definitely do so. I would say start on the easier difficulty until you get used to how it works, because of course the humans are going to kick your ass. Now, the thing that really drew me to this game and made me love it was how it basically fits itself into the lore and the story of Terminators 1 and 2. It does this very well, and it does it in a way that's believable, and that makes you feel as if you're part of that universe. And for a Terminator fan, that is so crucial. to adding to the fun factor. And yes, like I said, this game does have minor issues, but for the most part, it makes you feel as if you are a vital part of the human resistance defeating the Terminators. And because of that, I would say if you love the Terminator franchise, definitely pick it up. But what are your thoughts about Terminator Resistance? Is it a game that you played and you loved? Or did you play it for 5 minutes and say, this is just not for me? Leave your comments in the comments section below. I love to read comments, whether you liked it, whether you didn't. I'd love to hear what you think. Also, if you did enjoy this video, definitely hit that like button. I do greatly appreciate it. This is SSG, aka Sergeant Sentinel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and take it easy, gamers.